Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Puri Rajakacharya Ashtotar Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna and welcome everyone for Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Wednesday, December 4th, 2024 in New York, and tonight we're picking up with the fourth canto, chapter 8, text number 25. We've just heard the maternal advice of Queen Suniti to her son Dhruva, and now the narration shifts to usher in the great sage Narada Muni. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naradastadupakanya Nyatva tasya chikirshitam Sprishtva mudhanyagha gnena Panina prahavismitaha. The great sage Narada overheard this news, and understanding all the activities of Dhruva Maharaj, he was struck with wonder. He approached Dhruva, and touching the boy's head with his all-virtuous hand, he spoke as follows. When Dhruva Maharaj was talking with his mother, Suniti, of all the incidents that had taken place in the palace, Narada was not present. Thus the question may be raised how Narada overheard all these topics. The answer is that Narada is Trikala Gya. He is so powerful that he can understand the past, future, and present of everyone's heart, just like the Supersoul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, after understanding the strong determination of Dhruva Maharaj, Narada came to help him. It may be explained in this way. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in everyone's heart. And as soon as he understands that a living entity is serious about entering devotional service, he sends his representative. In this way, Narada was sent to Dhruva Maharaj. This is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai Bhakti Lata Bija. By the grace of the spiritual master and Krishna, one can enter into devotional service. Because of Dhruva Maharaj's determination, Krishna, the Supersoul, immediately sent his representative, Narada, to initiate him. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shadakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Narada shows up, touches him on the head, and then speaks. And Prabhupada goes to some lengths to describe how it was that Narada shows up. We wonder at the activities of Narada, how he seems to be on the spot at so many important and decisive junctures of history that he's like the super soul himself. And Prabhupada says, yes, Narada knows the past, present, and future of all beings, just like the super soul. And that was a quality that Prabhupada himself seemed to share when you hear recollections of his disciples upon meeting Prabhupada, or even just seeing Prabhupada. They had the sense that he could see through them, or see their very self, or understand them better than anyone else. And they felt sometimes very creaturely under Srila Prabhupada's gaze. And this is due to his being so firmly fixed as a servant of the Lord. So Narada has this quality. Prabhupada has this quality, and that's actually needed from the disciples' point of view, because tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, Krishna sends his representative to be honored just as he himself is honored, because the spiritual master is the representative of Krishna. And that means that he presents again Krishna to the forgetful soul. And so that fortunate disciple is one who is able to have that demeanor of proper respect, awe, and veneration for the representative of Krishna, thus enabling the proper exchange of knowledge to come forward. I was reading the back cover actually of this year's Vyasa Puja book compiled by disciples of His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami, and they're quoting you yourself, Maharaj, is saying that the knowledge comes down and the offerings go up. This is the natural transaction of energies from the Lord down and from all of the living entities up. And when that is healthy and properly established, then things are in their natural healthy state. And this is what we're hearing here. Dhruva Maharaj shows by his own determination. He's got a plan. He's going to the forest. He's determined. His very name means determination. And Krishna, reciprocating from within him, sends his direct representative who knows Dhruva. And now we're about to hear the very charming exchange that Dhruva has with Narada himself. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, we'd love to hear from you if you care to comment here.
Thank you, Kendra Prabhu. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shamini Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari. The most significant issue brought up is how Krishna and his pure devotee work together for the deliverance of a sincere soul. That's Kendra Prabhu discussed this. I won't take it further, I don't think, although it's essential for understanding our how Krishna consciousness works. The Sprishtva Murdani Aghagnena Panina Prahabhismita. The Nard Muni touched Dhruva on the head with his all-virtuous hand, all-virtuous Agha Gnena. It can drive away all Agha, all sinful activities. This again is the power of the pure devotee, that just by coming in touch, especially here, literal touch with the pure devotee of Krishna, one can be freed from all sinful reactions. And Vismita, Nardis, was surprised by the determination of this young child to do whatever he needed to do to get the kingdom that he wanted. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Narada first spoke to himself. So the coming verses are Narada Narada speaking, but he's at first speaking to himself. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Any comments or questions here? I'm not seeing anything yet in the chat, but yes, there is something. Ras Prabhu?
Saraswati Masterji writes, Pranams Param Puja Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Nard Muni was also 5 when he was serving advanced devotees and immersed in bhakti. So can we say that his placing his hand on Dhruva's head in blessings mean this was a sign of acceptance of Dhruva as a disciple?
Well, he'd already been sent by the personality of Godhead to guide Dhruva Maharaj to bless Dhruva Maharaj. We tend to, well, the relationship is there, or about to be established, because Dhruva Maharaj, as we'll see, at first rejects Narada's instructions, but now, of course, the relationship is being established. Narada appears, he touches Dhruva's hand and Dhruva's head in blessing. So the relationship is there. Now things just need to be, things will further develop. Where you wanted to establish the starting place, now he's initiated. Someone might say, well, it's initiated when he gave Dhruva Maharaj a mantra. Or someone may say it began here. That's a question of vision. Srila Prabhupada said that when he met his spiritual master, Prabhupada at once accepted him. Yes, here's my spiritual master. And then, but it wasn't formalized till later. And of course, that was acceptance from one side. The acceptance from the other side also needed to be there. But from the very beginning, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave instructions, that means blessing, that you're educated boys, why don't you take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement seriously? But Prabhupada did, and the other young man who was with Prabhupada didn't take it up the same way. He might have thought, yes, nice sadhu, but he didn't, the relationship didn't develop. And with Prabhupada, it developed gloriously. Hare Krishna.
Vijay Krishna Prabhu writes, why is it that to be determined and serious is so indispensable for us to make tangible spiritual advancement? Maybe the spiritual master doesn't like to deal with half-hearted candidates. Please.
Anything. If you're serious, you'll make progress. If you're just dabbling, then it will make, you won't get the same result, whether it's in sports or studies or anything. If you're serious, then you can make rapid progress. Even the person who's not serious, all right, he may make some progress, but unless he becomes serious, what will happen? So, and the spiritual master also, yes, he becomes very pleased when a candidate is serious. Just, he noted, this boy likes to hear. So, yes, Hare Krishna.
Panchatattva Prabhu writes, Prabhupada. So this is a quote from Prabhupada. Prabhupada, so you will be initiated. That's nice. So anyone or any one of you, when you agree to follow the regulative principles, and if you are recommended by our men, then you can also be initiated. It is not difficult. Initiation is formality. First of all, you have to decide whether you will abide by the rules and regulation and become Krishna conscious. That is your consideration. You have to think yourself whether you are going to take seriously this Krishna consciousness. It is your decision. Initiation is formality. If you are serious, that is real initiation. So if you have understood the Krishna philosophy, and if you have decided that you will take Krishna consciousness seriously and preach the philosophy to others, that is your initiation. My touching is simply formality. It is your determination that is initiation. Room Conversation, 7372, New York.
Thank you so much for that, Panchatattva Prabhu. I just had a comment here. One of the words in the verse is vismitaha, being surprised. Vismitaha is also like smiling or very much smiling. And we spoke in the context of Chaitanya Charitamrita how Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was struck with wonder at the devotional activities of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. And here Narada appears to be, well, Prabhupada says in the running translation, struck with wonder at the activities of Dhruva Maharaj. And it reminds me of how myself, I'm now here at by the Krishna House in Gainesville, Florida, where so many very nice young people are becoming very serious about Krishna consciousness, and I find myself being struck with wonder that you don't often see this, that young people with so many good qualities take to Krishna consciousness in all seriousness, and even though I may know myself that Krishna consciousness is certainly valuable and attractive and compelling, somehow when I see someone else doing it, I become surprised. And that's what we see Narada himself doing here. So, Hare Krishna.
Saraswati Mataji writes, are all pure devotees and gurus Trikala Gya? I know Valmiki Acharya is described as Trikala Darshina. Maharaj, you're unmuted.
Thank you. It's hard to speak about everyone. I know that I'm not Trikalagya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Panchatattva Prabhu, please go ahead.
In furtherance of your point, again, Prabhu, we discussed how these young people that are coming, they are gentle, they're polite, they're very self-controlled in their behavior. There are things that I wasn't when I joined. I was ready to go charge out and with ridiculous amounts of energy, unstrung in all directions, do something. But these devotees, they're very mild, and they're young at an age when most young people are practically the extreme opposite of those qualities. So it's very nice to see, and it gives great hope for the future of the Hare Krishna movement. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other comments or questions here before we move on? Panchatattva Prabhu, your hand is still up. I'm thinking that's not a new question. Okay, now it's down. I wanted to see Vijay Krishna Prabhu. Would you like to read our next verse, verse number 26? Is that possible?
Yes, that is possible. Kendra Prabhu, can you hear me?
Very clearly, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. You're most kind. Text 26. Ahoteja kshatriyanam man bangam amri shyatam balopiyayam ridadate yat samatur asad vachaham. Translation. How wonderful are the powerful Kshatriyas. They cannot tolerate even a slight infringement upon their prestige. Just imagine, this boy is only a small child, yet harsh words from his stepmother proved unbearable to him. Purport. The qualifications of the Kshatriyas are described in Bhagavad Gita. Two important qualifications are to have a sense of prestige and not to flee from battle. It appears that the Kshatriya blood within the body of Dhruva Maharaj was naturally very active. If the Brahminical, Kshatriya, or Vaishya culture is maintained in a family, naturally, the sons and grandsons inherit the spirit of the particular class. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, the samskara, or the reformatory system, is maintained very rigidly. If one fails to observe the reformatory measures current in the family, one is immediately degraded to a lower standard of life.
Some thoughts, Prabhu, you might care to share?
Yes, well, I liked it when the last sentence of the purport, if we fail to observe what is being given to us by our family relatives, in the case that they're bona fide and lovers of God, then degradation will be waiting at the door. Thank you very much. You're most kind. That is my comment.
Thank you for reading, Prabhu. Maharaj, we'd love to hear from you here.
Well, first, this is the Kshatriya nature, Ishvara Bhav, the tendency to want to be the man in charge, Soryam, Teja, valor and courage, and Amrishyata. He can't take being insulted. He can't just take it lying down, as they say. He's has the sense of prestige. And Balapi, even though he's a child, this spirit was there in Dhruva Maharaj. We tend to overlook or not consider carefully enough how the spirit of our particular spirit is transmitted from generation to generation. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, that's one of Arjuna's, or it really touches several of Arjuna's objections, that if dharma is neglected, what is dharma? In that context, it's the particular prescribed duties for the members of the various occupational divisions. When the elders of the family if they're killed, then there'll be neglect of these eternal duties. And then there'll be unwanted population, Varna Sankara. And when there's Varna Sankara population, and the world becomes hellish. Sankaro Narakayaiva. So the Vedic culture is very careful about these things. In animal society, we're very careful about breeding. We want to breed particular kind of animal that will be resistant to disease, or a cow that will give a lot of milk, or whatever the particular traits are. The breeding is overseen with that in mind. And in human society, that was there also. Therefore, we still have the term that a person of good breeding, that means coming from a good family and trained also in the culture of that family. So when things are in proper order, then we'll see that the children will inherit the spirit of the parents. The children will inherit therefore I've mentioned before that when the astrologers were present at the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhisthira Maharaj and others were concerned, will this child be a fit descendant of the family? Will he uphold religious principles? Will he protect the citizens? Because these are the duties of the Kshatriya family. When if a child is born in a Kshatriya family and doesn't follow these principles, then he's not a credit to the family, or he may be a disgrace to the family. So we expect that when the proper duties are followed, then the child of a Brahmin will have a Brahminical spirit, the child of the Kshatriya, the child of the Vaishya. But it's not automatic. It's not automatic. It can be neglected also, or some discrepancy may be there. And therefore Narada tells Yudhisthira that if you see the qualities of a Kshatriya in a member of some other caste, he should be accepted as a Kshatriya. Brahminical qualities, then Brahmin. So that also should be taken into account. And but here, Dhruva Maharaj, although a child, is very much the Kshatriya, very much the Kshatriya. And Prabhupada, I believe in coming verses, will speak to the point that the Krishna consciousness movement can take anyone from any section and bring him to the higher stage by the reformatory method of devotional service. Srila Sanatana Goswami mentions this, that is, just as bell metal can be turned into gold by an alchemical process, so anyone from any section of human society can be elevated to the platform of being the most saintly person, pure devotee of Krishna. Yes. All right. Hare Krishna.
Manshatapa Prabhu writes, Charyam Dejo Tritir Daksham Yude Trapi Apalyanam Danam Mishra Bhavastra Shatram Karma Svabhavajam. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Bhagavad Gita 18:43. Saraswati Mataji writes, one person was defending Duryodhana's angry reaction after being insulted by Draupadi's hurtful words, but that cannot excuse his subsequent behavior, even if he was displaying this feature of Kshatriya spirit because he was proud to dish it out, but couldn't tolerate some mild teasing words.
The main thing there is that he transgressed dharma. Not just a question of tolerance or intolerance, but he went so far as to completely overstep or disregard Kshatriya duties. That's the criticism, that he's proud, and that's all right, we can accept he's a Kshatriya, but that he's transgressing the principles of Kshatriya dharma is unacceptable. To want to see Draupadi disrobed and so on. This is not Kshatriya dharma, this is animal life. And therefore, Prabhupada mentions that if a person from a higher family fails to observe, of course, fails to observe the reformatory measures means there's no garbhadant sanskar, and so on. So that's all right. I shouldn't quote that here. But the point is that if we go against the principles of our varna, then we become Brahmabandhu, Kshatriya Bandhu. Then we're the unfit descendants of the family. Whereas Ashwatthama, burnt remnants of his family, because he went against the principles of prescribed duty. He acted abominably, unethically, with adharma, and therefore, although he's the burnt remnants of his family. Hare Krishna.
Saraswati Mataji writes, thank you. Panchatattva Prabhu writes, a Kshatriya taking such offense at the words of a woman, who should always be protected and not taken very seriously in such situations, is also irregular.
I was thinking, Maharaj, it's interesting here when Prabhupada says the samskara, the Vedic system, is maintained very rigidly, or it's supposed to be. And now we see so-called contemporary, so-called progressive society just tossing out wholesale the very idea that there should be anything like a bloodline or breeding or training, because there's no absolute truth. Reality is up for grabs and people can just be what they want to be. I identify as this, that, or the other, and this is just okay, and it's politically correct. And it's so contrary to what we read here. And we see it doesn't lead to happiness like people think it will. And Hare Krishna, I don't know if you'd want to comment on that further, but that just occurred to me.
Someone's recently posted something mentioning that an American author of recent years said that people today just don't get the idea that duty could be higher than individual expression of individuality. They just don't get it. So that's there. Just got distracted. Just giving you. Yeah, bloodline. I mean, even samskars, we think about garbhadan samskar, but even vivaha samskar, marriage. No, why marriage? We'll just live together and then whatever. So they're reckless, careless, irresponsible. And so many children are born bastards, illegitimate children, and then they become bastards in the extended sense of the term. So they have the mentality of bastards. So that's what we get, and therefore, sankaro narakayaiva, we get children who are born just out of lust. There was an American author whose daughter was had something of anyway, she got some notoriety for a while. And she had a name that her father gave her, the name of some French wine, because it was over that wine that she was conceived, or under the influence of that wine that she was conceived. So that's your samskara. Prabhupada mentions previously there at birth there'd be a samskara and so on. Now Prabhupada says that there's just they wipe the baby with alcohol and that's it. But even at the time of conception, they alcohol up the baby. Or more seriously, the mother is a drug addict and the child is born with drug addiction. Doesn't have to inject anything, smoke anything, snort anything. He's already affected by whatever drugs the mother is taking. Typically alcohol also, although that's not recorded in the medical literature. But devotees can understand that if the parents are drunk, intoxicated one way or another, or simply acting out of lust without even the desire to get a child, or often with the desire not to get a child, then what kind of offspring will we get? We'll get essentially animals. And then how will we be happy in a society of beasts? Hare Krishna.
Ajatafa Prabhu writes, Srila Prabhupada said Satriyas were a stern people. We can hardly imagine how strongly we would be impressed to meet someone like Arjuna. Vijay Krishna Prabhu writes, what is the mentality of a bastard? Maharaj, you are muted.
Yeah, well, we could turn to Shakespeare. In King Lear, he has a character, Edmund the Bastard, and he is a bastard. He's the illegitimate son of he's the illegitimate son of his father, and he's what's the word? Resentful, envious, lusty, irresponsible. He has a soliloquy, thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law, my services are bound. So forget the supreme personality of Godhead, forget God, forget divinity. I'm bound to the service of nature. He's a Pukka materialist. I act in obedience to the laws of nature. There is no God. Isharo, not Isharo. What is that? Jagadahu and Ishara. There's no God in control. Demonic, basically. The demonic mentality is the mentality of bastards. Is the mentality of bastards. So yes, maybe that's enough.
Murari Gupta Prabhu or Murari G. Hare Krishna. In India, there is still considerable attention given to family background in relation to marriage, but another generation or two may see that change.
Already changing, especially in the cities. The so-called love marriage is oh yes, so nice. So it's already changing, becoming more degraded. But still it's strong. Yes.
Saraswati Masaji writes, I have a friend who is a well-known child psychologist and adopted a child born from drug addicts, and despite raising this child away from any drugs and with all love, support, etc., The child became drug addict and physically assaulted mother. She is now coming to our temple here.
Mm.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, do you have someone on site there who might like to read also?
I'm all alone in Dubai.
All right. Jai, Jai. Hare Krishna. Yovanananda Mata, would you like to read our next verse? Verse number 27, I believe.
Okay. Narada Uvacha Nanhuna Vamanam Te Sama Nam Vapi Putraka Lakshayama Kumarasya Saktasya Kridanadishu. Translation. The great sage Narada told Dhruva, "My dear boy, you're only a little boy whose attachment is to sports and other frivolities. Why are you so affected by words insulting your honor?" Purport. Ordinarily, if a child is rebuked as a rascal or a fool, he smiles and does not take such insulting words very seriously. Similarly, if words of honor are offered, he does not appreciate them. But in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, the Kshatriya spirit was so strong that he could not tolerate a slight insult from his stepmother, which injured his Kshatriya prestige.
All right, Krishna, some thoughts you might like to share in this connection?
Not really. Maybe Maharaj can say something.
There are two words here, avamanam and sammanam. Mana means respect. So avamana, disrespect, insult, and sammana, complete respect. So a child isn't expected to be concerned with these things. A Paramahansa also doesn't care about these things. Tata mana apamanayo. In several places in Bhagavad Gita, person who's on the transcendental platform doesn't care. Respect, disrespect, it's all the same for him because he's not on the bodily platform. And the child also, he has that quality that he's indifferent to respect, disrespect. That's Narada's statement here. Avamanam, sammanam. So it's generally Creed and Adishu. Business of a child is to play. A child may feel he doesn't like insults, and of course he smiles very happily when he's praised. But then 5 minutes later, he forgets the whole thing. He forgets whatever it was and gets involved in playing games and having, being a kid. But here in Dhruva Maharaj's case, he's so serious and so determined, so that Narad Muni is surprised. How is it that the case that this is there? Aduna, just now, maybe if you were older, we'd expect such things, but now you're just a child. So why all this? Why are you taking it so seriously? And as we'll find, he's also testing the boy. That you're just a kid. Why should you care about these things? He wants to find out if Dhruva is really serious, or he wants to show that Dhruva is really serious. So he presents these thoughts. You're just a kid. Why should you care? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. We still have a little time left. The next verse has not such a long purport. Panchatattva Prabhu, if you'd like to read, we'd love to hear you.
28.
We have a question from Venkatesh Prabhu. Should we go on with the question, or what do you think? Question? Okay. I've seen amazing devotees who have done great services, yet tolerated insults, cheating from others, even from people in authority, service authority. Wonderstruck how that is possible.
Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavata Kinchana Savargunais Tatra Samasate Sura. Just by becoming a devotee, one develops all godly qualities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you.
Next 28.
Panchatattva, please go
Sure.
ahead. Yeah.
Vikalpe vidyamane pi ya na hyasanto shahetavaha samaham rite binna yaloke nijakarma bihi. My dear Dhruva, if you feel that your sense of honor has been insulted, you still have no cause for dissatisfaction. This kind of dissatisfaction is another feature of the illusory energy. Every living entity is controlled by his previous actions. And therefore, there are different varieties of life for enjoying or suffering. Purport. In the Vedas, it is said that the living entity is always uncontaminated and unaffected by material association. The living entity gets different types of material bodies because of his previous fruitive actions. If, however, one understands the philosophy that as a living spirit soul, he has an affinity for neither suffering nor enjoyment, then he is considered to be a liberated person. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 1854, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, when one is actually situated on the transcendental platform. He has nothing for which to lament and nothing for which to hanker. Narada Rishi first of all wanted to impress upon Dhruva Maharaj that he was only a child. He should not have been affected by words of insult or honor. And if he were so developed as to understand honor and insult, then this understanding should have been applied in his own life. He should have known that honor and dishonor are both destined only by one's previous actions. Therefore, one should not be sorry or happy under any circumstances. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Gurudasa Jayadvaita Swami Niti Namine Om Ajnana Timarandasya Gnanjana Salakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. These are transcendental instructions by Narada Muni, interwoven with a bit of a challenge. I sometimes read these passages and think that Narada Muni is also issuing a challenge in a sense. He's certainly testing Dhruva. He's also giving him transcendental knowledge, but he's also saying, he goes on and says, this is not going to be very easy for you. You're not going to be able to do this. It's not your nature. You're just a child. There's no way you're going to do this. And in a sense, it's almost like, and I stand to be corrected if I'm speculating, but that Kshatriya nature that Dhruva has is being harnessed to propel him along in devotional service. That quality of determination, of stubbornness, even the fact that he's offended and is determined to achieve something as a result that will, show his father, and show his stepmother that he's important, that he can better them, that he can be the best and the greatest. It's actually being harnessed in pursuing what will purify him. It's really wonderful, this section, because it holds out hope for us, those who are inquisitive, materially distressed, desiring well, all these, contaminated motives, they can be purified by the process of devotional service. Hare Krishna.
It's not speculation. Prabhupada will say in later verses that this is what the spiritual master does. He engages different disciples according to their nature. He sees who's what in terms of their tendencies and engages them accordingly. Here, Narad Muni is giving Brahminical instructions, really. Vikalpe, Vidyamani api, although there may be ups and downs. Nahi asantosha etava. Why should one be dissatisfied? We have nothing to do with this material world. Asango hi purushaha. Soul is transcendental. So, pumsa mohamrite binna. Unless one is in duality because of illusion, one doesn't see this way with resentment, with anger. Nija karma pi, yat loke nija karma pi. Yes, this is what was meant to come by nature's arrangement. The same thing will be said later in different words. So he accepts yadrich jalabha santushta vanvatito vimatsara. He's not envious, he just accepts. This is what nature has sent me. All right, Hare Krishna. Yes.
Saraswati Mataji writes, am I misunderstanding this? But is Narada Muni's initial instructions and intention to Dhruva meant to have Dhruva engage in bhakti without any attachment for material gain?
Well, Narada is Trikalagya, so he knows everything that will develop. One could take it that first he's presenting the higher platform, and then he's seeing that Dhruva is not going to accept it, so he adjusts. Or from another point of view, he's, as we say, performing a pastime. He's highlighting the qualities of Dhruva Maharaj by his instructions.
Jai. Thank you, Maharaj. Krishna Konteya Prabhu, are you available for leading our closing kirtan this evening?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Brahman Sa Parivrat Jagacharya Stutar Sat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Brahman Sa Parivrat Jagacharya Astotar Sat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Jayadvaita Swami Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Siddhartha Sakur Ki Jai. Bhimse Gahor Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Sri Guru and Guranga.
Jai, thank you so much, Krishna Konte Prabhu. And thank you everyone for being here, especially Maharaj. Thank you for sharing your association with us all. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Maharaj.
Thank you, Yogananda. Thank you, Krishna Kantiya. Thank you to all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.